The people who make like the indie things are
Indie is
not all
nice.
photographers. So when I was in that community and they were still new at their jobs, I would be like showing them how to achieve certain effects and basically how to do product photography for a website correctly. And one of the things that they thought was really, really funny, there's a lot of women involved in these businesses. So anytime I was like holding one of their toys, like in my hand, it would make it look like half the size that they were accustomed to seeing compared to the hand. And then you add to that like a short focal length lens, which makes the closest thing to it bigger by a lot. It looked like I had like gigantic King Kong hands when my hands are actually pretty average for a guy. But like it's a whole meme now in that community how big my hands are when they're not.
RM, Dick FX artist.
Dick FX artist, unironically. Self should be back by now, you know.
I know, but we just keep getting onto other topics. Self, confirm that you're in there while we're talking about the other stuff. Yes, I'm back. Well, too bad. I'm still going to ask this question. How did your interest and background in all this security stuff tie into your also innate interest in adult industry stuff?
Because they're bad at it.
And that's how you also got into VTubers.
Yeah. You got to understand, a lot of these people are just like, they're literally freshly 18 when they start this, and they don't know anything about OPSEC. Like, your average person doesn't give a fuck about OPSEC. I was seeing some really bad OPSEC. And it's weird, because this is getting super normalized, but back when this was happening, it wasn't very super normalized for, like, the camera dude to be in the back rooms talking to all the girls. But that's where I was, essentially.
Yeah.
And a lot of teaching opportunities presented themselves. And the consequences for them when they fuck up their OPSEC is a lot worse than yours or even mine. Like, when they break OPSEC, they get stalked for 10, 12 years. They get blackmailed to their parents. They, you know, all sorts of really bad shit. And that's if they're not survival sex workers. The survival sex workers are in an even worse position.
Yes. Yeah.
And if you don't know the difference, a survival sex worker is actually what I think most people assume all sex workers are.
I gotta do this to pay for college.
I've got to do this to eat.
Yeah. It's the thing that everyone always tells themselves about the friend that they find out is a stripper or something, is that they're doing it because that's what they have to do to make ends meet.
Yeah, but also in the specific area of camming, like a survivor cammer is like somebody who's trying to escape like even worse forms of sex work, like being pimped out, and that's like a lot of people who are pimped out are survival sex workers because they wouldn't be doing that if they had a choice. Yeah, I guess that's the definition. I wouldn't be doing it if I had a choice. So it's worse than the paying for college thing. It's like on a different level than that.
Some people just like getting neck for other people.
Yeah, but a lot of them are not survival sex workers. And I already forgot what the point I was trying to make was. But, like,
there's a difference between those. And why it is more important for them.
It is much more important for them. So I had always been in security a little, but that's when I got into security a lot, was to help those people out.
So I want to ask you a question as somebody.
Then I see VTubers doing the same fucking shit, and I'm like, put me in, coach.
I want to ask you, as somebody who has been more keyed into this industry longer than I have, is it just laws not catching up, or how has there ever been that sort of conflict where it's like, wow, camming is particularly close to prostitution because someone is giving money for a sexual act? How do we...
I don't think the laws can catch up in America. And the reason for that is because there's a sizable portion of the population that wants the entire thing delegitimized outright. And as long as you have that, you're not going to have good faith laws around the subject.
Yeah. And there's a large amount of the lawmaking body in the country who frequents those sites. So...
Right. Well, they're the same. That Venn diagram is a circle.
Yes. Yes, you go out and yell about how bad it is before logging in as soon as you get inside.
Well, yeah, because the primary argument for outlawing it is that men can't control themselves. I wonder who's making that argument. Could it be the man that can't control himself?
The man who just got caught jerking off by his wife?
Uh-huh, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's
That's the
just
one.
it's always terrible. And I think that level of whether you are for it or against it, that level of black and white thinking on it will, like you said, always make it to where there's not good faith progress made in an issue.
Yeah. So like I think there's enough people in our legal system that I don't see that ever having what I would call a good faith take
Yeah.
being pushed. It's certainly not in my lifetime. If I live to see that day, I will consider that a pleasant surprise. I'm not banking on it.
The only one that I would really like to see things work out with is because everyone told you and sold you on why OF was such a great thing was because now these women can make the money on their own and don't have to worry about a pimp or whatever or somebody take. But now you're seeing that there. You're seeing all these agencies where, oh, we'll help you get up on the list and we'll just take like,
Hey, JP.
what's up? But like we'll take most of your money and then you'll be like, oh, I'm doing this for me. So now you're seeing basically glorified pimping in the camgirling, and I mean in camgirling it's been a thing for a long ass time. But
Right.
even in
But that's also
OnlyFans
an
that like
issue.
yeah. And
Like
so
OF and Fansly are an issue because of how they present this as like easy money. Like the first line in the Cam Girls survival guide on that one subreddit I talk about all the time
yeah.
is you actually don't want to do this. Turn away now. This is your last warning. And I would say that's actually true for like 90% of the people who try it.
Yeah. Well, because we've seen even in this area, we'll keep it super vague as to not get shat on by a large group of people, but we've seen people in this industry that thought that making their fansly would be a fantastic thing and that they were super ready and super into it, and then it take a very large toll on their mentality.
Yes, absolutely. And you can watch it in real time. Like,
Yep.
I have hard called some of them in private about like, that person's not ready. Watch this.
Yep.
And then it happened.
Also, I do have to point out that Sylph said my brother is pro dick pic, and I had to screenshot that and immediately sent it to JP. I sent it to him in our group chat and was like, I just had to throw that in there.
And then he shows up. But like, there's an important A in that sentence.
My brother's a pro dick. Yeah, pro dick pic is just when you're excited about it. A pro.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess we can get into the bucket now.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you wanna, I'm sure we'll loop back around to this. We haven't been able to stay away from the topic, but I want to know what this bucket story is.
Yay, the bucket!
I just took a shot and it made my model's eye like wink. Do not drink sheepdog.
You were there for the stream, so
yes.
I want you to recall. While I'm telling this story, I want you to recall how hard me and my sister were laughing about it. Because I think that is not a reaction you would think we would have.
Okay, yes, but you both are horribly broken people. In the most loving way possible. I love you guys so much, but you guys are both horribly scarred and broken people.
That's what's so funny about it.
So it started off with my dead dog. That's where I'm expecting this to go.
Okay, so skipping the dead dog part. When I was little, I want to say, Sylph might be able to correct me here, but she was itty bitty at this point, so she probably can't. I was somewhere between 8 and 12 years old when this happened. We lived in a shitty-ass double-wide trailer, and before you say it, yes, some are more shitty than others, and there's such a thing.
Absolutely.
There is such a thing as a good double-wide.
I live in Oklahoma. I've lived in a trailer before.
True. Where the drain pipe connects to the underside of the sink kept breaking.
Mm-hmm.
And this is when my parents, like, this wasn't always this way. I don't think Sylph has known them any other way, but my parents were not always people who had given up. This is about the time they had started giving up. And when I say giving up, I mean like in a general sense, like for everything.
Yeah.
They used not to be that way. I knew them when they weren't, and I'm not sure Sylph did. Yeah, she didn't know them like that. But they had started to give up. Keep in mind, there's 4 of us. Having parents that have given up is a really bad situation to be in when there's 4 of you. So one day they just stopped replacing it. And what was that like? Next collab, yeah. And they took one of those 5-gallon buckets that you get at like an Ace.
Yeah.
and they put it under the sink to catch any of the water that comes out of there. Because, some of the water is still falling into the pipe. It's broken, but like some of the water's still going in, right? Have you ever smelled like truly stagnant water?
Yes.
Okay. So I want you to understand that for this bucket to get full but based on the workload, it took anywhere between 3 days to 9 days. Yeah, 5 gallons of stagnant water. We also had a really bad palmetto bug infestation. For those of you who don't know, a palmetto bug is like a roach, but it's the size of my thumb. And let me just put that up there real quick. That's about how big the roaches are. So
I had to Google palmetto bugs because we talked about them separately recently.
Yeah. So yeah, they are literally tree roaches. Paul says we call those tree roaches down here. They are literally tree roaches. They come from the trees. I am the Lorax. I speak for the trees. So the stagnant water also had dish soap in it, and dish soap smells kind of sweet.
Yeah.
So it would attract the palmetto bugs, and they would get trapped in the bucket and die. So every time the bucket filled up, there was like this bacterial fungal slime.
Full.
Yeah, there was also like this bacterial fungal slime on it, and also it had dead palmetto bugs in it, kind of like a raisin bread.
But that's just because that's water from your state, so you should be used to that.
No, our water was great. Our water was fantastic. There are not a lot of places in this country you can say well water is great.
I grew up on
we
well
lived
water.
in one of them. Oh,
the well water sucked here though. We had to have like the huge ass softener that you put like 500 pounds of salt in every month. Like
we did also have hard water, but it tasted great.
Ours you could not drink from the amount of salt we had to use.
Oof. Like we ended up having a salt thingy, but our water didn't taste like salt afterwards.
We couldn't use it in our dishwasher because it would leave salt spots all over the dishes.
You might not have needed that salt filter, because what the salt did was like take care of the calcium carbonate / limestone. And if you didn't have water that was hard enough, the salt would get in there instead. And it sounds like that's kind of what was happening. But also it sounds like your brine tank wasn't separating the water properly.
No, it wasn't.
From the brine. Yeah. So
no, I'm pretty sure what we got was the brine. Like
yeah, that sounds awful.
But also that house burned down when I was 18, so whatever.
We had extremely clean aquifer water. Like literally Nestle is still trying to get the water we had down there. They are still after it. We had great water. But no water is great when it's sitting in a pile of dead roaches and detritus from dishes. So like there's food in here. Because no, we didn't just have the sink that was broken be the rinse sink or the dry sink. No, it was whichever one we felt like. That's another story, Sylph. We went over that last time, but like we had great water and we never drank it. So there's food in here, there's dish soap in here, it's stagnant, there's a bacterial and fungal slime on the top of it, depending on the day. It has, the way the roaches were dead in there, it looked like spotted dick. For those of you not familiar with spotted dick, it's like a armor potted meat product with raisins in it. That was how it looked. And the smell was absolutely atrocious. So of course it's the 8 to 12-year-old's job to take this 5-gallon bucket full of water from the kitchen to the compost pile in the garden. So like we're in a double wide, so we also have like a porch with significant stairs on the way down because double wides are significantly off the ground. That's actually one of the things that makes them so unsafe in the wind. Like construction issues. Yeah, construction issues aside, there's a huge gap between the floor and the ground. Anyway, I would take the bucket out. And I'm a weak ass little 8 to 12-year-old, so I can barely pick this thing up. It's constantly sloshing on me and my clothes. When I go down the stairs, I get splashed with this. By the time I actually get the bucket to the compost pile, I am covered in bucket juice, which is why I don't like wearing clothes, by the way, because my clothes were always constantly covered in bucket juice down to the underwear. So I prefer very loose-fitting clothing these days. I just generally don't like clothes at all. And yeah, bucket juice with a trail of dead bugs behind me. And I also had to clean up any spots where the bucket juice got on the carpet, which was like every fucking time. One time there's a rat. There's a dead rat drowned in the bucket because the palmetto bugs are rat food.
That's just called dinner, man. I don't know what you're complaining about.
I don't think I had to take that bucket out, though. I think that was one of the buckets where the parents finally stepped in and saying, you are not touching this biohazard. Which is weird, because I think the roaches are actually dirtier than the rats. Yeah, so I did that for 6 years.
My favorite part is how we went from OF girls to dead bug dishwater biohazard juice.
Yeah, I did that job for 6 years because they wouldn't fix the sink.
I love that it has locked in as such a key memory that both of you were laughing your asses off just thinking about it.
It's kind of funny.
So
like for those of you who didn't catch the stream, me and my sister, like I have a clip on my channel. I have literally 2 clips on my channel. And one of them is our reaction to the bucket, and we are just dying laughing the whole time.
So I want to ask your permission for something real quick.
Sure.
Do you mind if we get a little serious / semi-personal, but you've talked about it a little on stream?
Sure, go for it.
You are the most recent person to legitimately make me have to, like, pause a stream because I was at a weird place because it was while I was replacing floors and I was stressed as shit. But, like, I got up in my feels about something and was, like, tearing up while laying this flooring.
Oh, I think I know what this is.
It is about the story about when you basically were forced to grow up.